Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jeff, and today we're gonna two topics of conversation that I want to touch upon while I sprinkle in a few sales that I've gotten over the last 24 hours. First topic is, and I don't really have a title for it, but it could be something along the lines of is eBay suppressing your listings, or is eBay just not doing a good job of, how do I want to say this, getting your items in front of the right buyers? And so let me explain. Let's just go over this one first, because it's something that I noticed yesterday. Basically, I got an offer for $9 on this book. It's Batman, Dark Joker, The Wild, and in the comic world, if you have like a back issue and you get an offer on it, one of two things can be true. One, somebody just wants that book to read it. Happens all the time. Number two, sometimes someone's trying to kind of lowball you because they're collecting these issues. Either there's something about this particular issue that is heating up is in the comic world. Maybe there's a storyline in it that got optioned. Maybe there's a first appearance of a character. Could be something having to do with the cover art or just something inside. So lots of times I will just quickly go onto eBay to see what the value is, just like you do with kind of like anything sometimes when you get an offer, if you're unsure of whether or not that's a good market price. So again, I had this listed for $14.23. I got an offer for $9. Now, something that is very important to note about this, in the comic world, yes, I'm going to say it, I'm including myself in this, but I don't lowball quite as bad as I've received lowball offer. Let me just say it. Comic people are extremely cheap when it comes to buying comics. They want the absolute lowest possible price of any category of selling. I find that people who buy comics, they want the cheapest, and then they want the best. So what I'm saying is, so I graded this book. And I'm a conservative grader, and I'm a very good grader. I've been in comics all my life. I took a break, and then I got back into 2012, and that was essentially when I got back into, when I started eBay. And I graded this a near mint plus 9496. So a near mint plus is a 9.6. This is on a scale of 10. 10 being the highest. 10 you never get. Like, you rarely ever send a book in to get graded and it comes back a 10. So 9.8 is kind of like the tops. 9496 is a really high grade. So I'm basically saying it's a near mint plus, and it falls in the range between a 9.4 to a 9.6 because I like to under promise and over deliver. But I can't think of any. I'm sure there's probably been one time that maybe somebody received a book from me and it wasn't to their liking, but grading is very subjective. So one person's 9.6 might not be the same as another person's 9.6. So that's kind of oftentimes why I'll give a range. And if I just said 9.6 near mint plus, then that means I'm extremely confident that it's going to be that or better. All right, sorry, long-winded explanation for the grades. But so I went and I looked at close sales, and I noticed that in May 13th, one of these sold, same issue, one of these sold for almost $20. Now the grade on that issue was a VF, which is an 8.0, which is significantly lower than this particular book. And then another one sold for, I wrote that one down. So May 13th, one sold for $19.50, and then on May 1st, one sold for $15. Now, the 15, I believe there was no grade on it, but that particular buyer had less than 100% feedback. So I find it interesting that my issue has been listed for a while, like many months, and the particular buyers who bought those other issues from somebody, they paid twice as much and in a significantly less grade. So in theory, people pay significant premiums for very high grade books. So if that VF sold for 19.5, this particular issue, extrapolated out, factoring the grade, should have probably sold for 35 bucks. Instead, I got an offer for 9, and I took it. The reason being, sales have been brutally crap. And so why? And now maybe they were buying other issues from that particular buyer, and they were getting combined shipping. That's a very real possibility. I just find it odd that this particular book did not sell and other lesser grade copies of books sell. So I can't explain why that happens. I just wanted to point that out, and I thought that was extremely peculiar. Echoes of Ukraine. This I bought in a church lot a couple weeks ago. I think I paid about $25 for everything that I got out of there. This sold for $17 and change. And I just listed it last night, and that's kind of shocking to me. Maybe I was the only one. Probably was the only one. Bandora Music by Roman. I don't know how to say that name. Let's see. My phone is dying. Let me plug it in. Okay. Another comic sold. This is a graphic novel. And this one sold for about $16. I'm roughly doing the converted currency. So this one sold for 17 and change. I already sold a painting out of that lot for 30 bucks. I bought a bunch of cassettes, just obscure stuff. I'm just like, you know what? Let's just make a pile and see where it goes. I bought a bunch of like PC CD-ROM games. Sometimes some of those can have value. Unfortunately, I didn't notice that they were all in German, so they're either going to take forever to sell, or they're just never going to sell. And I got some other random stuff that, as it sells, I'll remember buying it there. Oddly enough, I have 2 of these, so easy relist or sell similar on that. Maybe there's a huge demand for Echoes of Ukraine. You know, they have been in the news. I got an offer for these Masonic things that I actually got an offer on a while ago. Well, not a while ago, a couple weeks ago. Bought these off of Marketplace. This guy, he had a bunch of cool Masonic stuff. I know there's a market for that. I got a couple other pieces from him. These sold for $20. I decided to not be stingy and not counter and just take the money on this one this time. So I think the last time I got an offer, it was for 15 or 16. So when I countered that and he ended up declining, and then he found them, I think he said he found them on Etsy or somewhere. It worked out to my benefit. I did counter a couple offers yesterday. Both of them I haven't heard back. I'm finding that when you counter these days, buyers are just like, their offers are like their line in the sands. Anybody else finding that? It's like they know we're suffering. I talked about this before, how buyers are kind of in charge in eBay right now. It's like, remember COVID times? Remember when sellers were just, they could pretty much ask anything, and buyers were just buying and buying and buying. This is kind of like the return to even. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but second topic that I wanted to talk about was a while back, everyone was talking about, you know, deleting self-similar. Is it good? Is it bad? Does it do it? Is it anything? Well, I have the definitive answer, I believe, and anybody can test this. So again, I've been selling for 12 years, and I never did it. I didn't even know about it. And how I didn't know about it was I didn't actually start watching YouTube videos until like the last 6 months. So I was kind of like in my own little bubble of reselling. And then around the same time when I started watching YouTube videos, the reason I started watching YouTube videos is because my sales were slow. I was just like, what is going on? At that same time, I also called eBay and was asking them, is there anything wrong with my store? Is there anything I can do to make my store better? And one of the guys was suggesting refreshing your store. And I was like, what do you mean? And he had mentioned about how as something is listed for, you know, it sometimes years, it could be on an old server, not being seen, could be just pushed way down on the search results. So he suggested deleting it and sell similar to kind of like refresh it. So I've been doing that on my store, just trying to get trying to fix the listings as I see any errors on. I found a ton of errors in my store. I'm still finding them. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I list late at night. Sometimes I make mistakes. But I have been noticing that items that have had zero interest in forever, when I delete them and sell similar, the very next day they're in somebody's watch list, or they'll sell. I'll notice every once in a while something will just sell that it's just like, oh, I just deleted and sell similar. So I believe and I can't help but believe it, because I've seen inactive items get attention from doing that. Now, this is the first time I've done it on this account, it's been 12 years. I think in the past, not knowing about the item, a brand new item number is created when you sell similar versus relist. I think in the past, I've only ever just deleted and relisted it because, well, that just made sense. But anyhow, you're not going to get shadow banned. eBay recommended doing it. I know some people from watching YouTube, they do this quite frequently. I don't know how often I'm going to incorporate it into kind of like my eBay routine. Maybe every 6 months, I'll do. I think what I'm going to do is maybe every 3 to 4 months, I'll take the top 200. So let's say in 3 months from now, and I should be finished with my entire store, if not today, because we're going to go to our daughter's place and we're going to have like a kind of like a Father's Day thing / kind of like she finished her master's degree. So it's kind of like a dual party, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have today, but I'll be done tomorrow with my one store, deleting and sell similar the entire store, which is 8,000 items, which takes a while, like, because I kind of wanted to do them in batches and kind of like look them over. So I think I have maybe 100 left, and that one will be done, and then I can start working on my wife's store. The Pro, this one sold for $15. Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis is the creator of the show The Boys. He does some pretty nutso stuff. So this is I believe this is the third print. Nothing major. And then the last thing that I have that sold, I'll just show you, or maybe I'll just read what they are. They're 5 of these Bissell Stomp and Go carpet rug stain lifting pads. These sold for want to say 1950. I don't even remember buying these, to be honest with you. I might have got them in a thrift store. They might have been in like a bag, and I think maybe I paid $3 for them. But when I sold them, I was like, where are those things? Because this is pre-inventory SKU, which that's another thing that I'm working on, is like, it took me to get to 8,000, roughly 7,800 listings to be like, you know what, I need a good SKU inventory system here. Definitely highly recommended. Makes your life a lot easier. Probably only 10% of my inventory. Now, a lot of my inventory is comics and they're in long boxes, but probably only 10% of my inventory has dedicated SKU information, and I'll be glad when my entire store is like that. But it takes time. I'm not about to go and pull every item and do it, so I'm just kind of doing it as I list new items and as I sell new items and create space. And yeah, but that's probably gonna take a whole year before I can get that section of my storage area clear. So other than that, 2 topics I talked about. Is eBay doing a good job at getting your items in front of the buyers? I don't know. Something seems odd when people are spending double on lesser items than the item that you have listed. And deleting and sell similar is a thing, because if people are putting them in your watch list, then you have access to be able to send an offer and create some sales that way. So whether you delete and sell similar, and whether it causes it to sell faster, it definitely 100% gets new eyes looking at your stuff to where they'll add it to their watch list, and then you can connect to them that way. So good luck with your sales, guys. Happy Juneteenth, and we will talk to you next time.